Okay, so this problem is a little longer, a little bit trickier. We're going to be looking for an LCD to multiply. So we look at the denominators. This first denominator is factored. You can't break it into multiplication more than it is. Second one, same thing. I put the parentheses to indicate that it's a factor. But this last denominator, that's the difference of squares. And so it factors into x plus 2, x minus 2. So when we look for the LCD, we look at all the denominators, we're going to need an x minus 2, and we're going to need an x plus 2. But we don't need any more than that. Now, one thing to note, because these are rational expressions and it's an equation, well, even just the fact that they're rational expressions, we're not going to be able to divide by 0. So x cannot be 2, because that would make the first factor in my LCD 0, and it can't be negative 2, because that'd make the second factor 0. So x cannot be that. Those are excluded values. You see that in the video. Please watch my videos, because then you'll understand how to do these problems. And the internet just doesn't always give you the correct information, okay? So just trust me on that. Okay. So we're going to multiply by the LCD. Now, you can write it out. I'll show you kind of what that looks like without taking too much time. Let's see. Trying to get it to be a decent thickness here. Okay, you're multiplying by x plus 2, x minus 2. It doesn't really matter which order you put them in. Same thing here. This is going to be all messy. You can write it on your paper if you want to, or notes or whatever. You don't have to write this out because it's just so darn messy. But what's happening then is the x minus 2's are canceling, the x plus 2's are canceling here. And then the x plus 2 and the x minus 2 is canceling here at the end. Now that's a mess, like I said. I'm checking to make sure it's a good pinpoint worth. Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties today. All right, you got to write what's left, so you have to find it. You've got 5 times x plus 2 plus, now where did that addition sign come from? Right there. 3 times x minus 2, and then over here you just have 20. That makes this equation very doable. It's easier than the last one we did, actually. So distributing here, you're going to get 5x plus 10. Distributing here, you're going to get 3x minus 6. Now, because it was addition here, we didn't have to worry about distributing a negative sign, so that's nice. Equals 20. Notice that most of the terms are over on the left. We just on the right have a 20. So I'm combining here. 5x and 3x make 8x. 10 and negative 6 make 4. And so I get that equation. Subtracting 4, I get 8x equals 16. Dividing by 8, I get x equals 2. Yay, x equals 2. Oh, no. X can't be 2 because of what we said earlier. That's an excluded value. So you may have gotten that on your answer. You should have gotten that as an answer. You may have realized it's an excluded value, or you might not have. If you didn't, I probably took off 1 point. Grateful that you showed all your work. But this is a no solution. You could have written out no solution, or you could have put the empty set. Okay, that was a tricky one. Jim buys a pair of shoes that are 43% off the original price. I'm going to make this a little smaller so it fits. He pays $72.96 for the shoes. What was the original price of the shoes? So you do this when you shop. You get 43% off the original price. So you need to know what's 43% of, and I'm just going to use P for the original price. That means 0.43p. Now, those of you working with decimals, especially for those going into the nursing program, make sure you put a 0 before the decimal point. They're very big on that. But remember, that's not what equals 72.96. That's how much he got off. This is what we're subtracting. Okay? What are we that says subtracting, pretend. Okay, what are we subtracting from? The original price, P. So we want P minus 0.43p to equal 72.96. Now, you could multiply by 100. To get rid of the decimal. That's done a lot of times. I probably wouldn't bother, but you could. Um, Another way to think of it is, think of this as 1p. What's 1 minus 0.43? You can put that in a calculator. It's 0.57p. So if you're getting 43% off, that means you're paying 57%, okay? But you're getting a good deal. All right. And then that makes this equation easier to work with if you think of it that way. 43% off means 57% on. So you're paying 50% of, or 57% of the price. And that's what we're figuring right here. Divide by 0.57, divide by 0.57, and then I get a calculator to do this for me. And I get the price was $128. And that was the answer. Okay, one more here. Pam invests a total of $74,000 in 2 interest-bearing accounts. This problem is going to be a little bit harder. Okay, the first account pays 4.4% annual interest, and the second account pays 2.5% annual interest. If Pam earns $226.80 after 1 year of investing, how much money did she invest in each account? Okay, so simple interest says you take the principal times the rate times the time. Since the time is 1 year, you don't have to worry about that. So you need to know the principal and you need to know the rate. So you have $7,400, or Pam has it, total, and it's being split into 2 accounts. Call one account X and the other one 7,400 minus X. Oh man. 7,400 minus X. Okay. That's going to really help you if you think of that. It's like you have a big pot of money and you're splitting it into 2 pieces. So if she put 400 in one account, then she put 7,000 in the other account. And you go back and forth like that. I think I have earlier videos on that. Okay. It doesn't matter which one you pick, since 4.4% is first. I'm going to just do that one first. So I'm going to say, I have to change it to a decimal, 0.044. So you might say, well, it's already a decimal. Yeah, but it's a percent. So you got to move it 2 places to the left to get it as the decimal number. So I'll say 0.004x plus 0.025. That's the other percentage, times 7,400 minus x equals, and then when you add those together, which I have the addition sign right here, it's going to equal that 226.80. Okay. Again, you could multiply by 100. I didn't this time. Usually I do, but I didn't. I just lived with the decimals. So that didn't matter. If you're wondering, well, wait a minute, I had the 44 on the 7,400 minus x and the 25 on the x, that's fine too. It's just a matter of which one you're finding first. Okay, so as long as you're consistent and everything, it's going to be okay. All right, so this is what I did. Oh, man. I'm multiplying here, so I got a calculator and it said it's 185. And then I'm distributing here, getting minus 0.025x. So then I subtracted the 185, and we just add 0.00 when we need to. Those are out. I'm going to have to combine the x's, right? So I have 0.044 minus 0.025. You can put that on a calculator, but you're going to come up with 0.019x equals, and then I probably would have just done this by hand. 5 from 6 is 1, 8 from 12 is 4, and so I think I'm getting 4180 there. Okay, so divide by 0.019. And this is a calculator. You and your calculator. Sometimes it's just easier to do it that way. And you're going to get x equals 2200. So So here comes your answer. Pam is investing 2,200 at the 4.4% rate. Now it makes a difference which rate you put, but remember that's what X was at the 4.4. Okay. The other one, subtract it from 7,400. You're going to get 5,200 at the 2.5% rate. Okay, and so we were looking for an answer, something like that. That was a hard problem, I understand, but we're here for hard problems. Sometimes we're here for hard problems. Sometimes they're easier.